We're talking headlines today on the Powerful Communication Podcast. This is Colin Kelly from Comsteria. Find out about our summer of training, some open courses coming up for you right through June, July and August. You get all the topics and dates at comsteria.co.uk/summer. I'd love it if you could join us for some of these. But headlines today, this is something that comes up when we do work with clients around writing blogs or writing press releases, or just understanding how the media works and how journalism works in our media training. Because quite often in press release courses, for example, we'll say, you should really write the press release so that the journalist could, if they wanted, just copy and paste it. The one exception to that is the headline. Quite often, if it's a physical print tabloid newspaper, they will use a play on words or a pun in the headline. And so sometimes when we're doing these writing workshops with people, they put play on words and puns in the headline. And I always say to them, don't do that. Just write it in a purely factual way. Right? It should just say it should do what it says on the tin, right? It's just that simple factual statement. And don't put play on words and puns in headlines. And the reason for that is if the journalist scans the email or prints it out, picks up the press release, and that headline is the first thing they see, they should understand the whole story, right? So the whole story is there, just there at them in the headline. And if they are a tabloid newspaper and they want to rewrite it, then they will, and they'll put in a pun or a play on words like morally bankrupt or supercalifragilistic Celtic are atrocious, right? Fantastic newspaper headlines. Phew, what a scorcher is the most famous of them all. And they have their place in the tabloid world, but they don't work online because they don't explain what the story is. So for things like search engine optimization or having your work found by AI chatbots, these play on words and puns don't work because they don't tell us anything about the story. And so you need, in your headlines, a down-to-earth, factual, does what it says on the tin type of strapline. And I have discovered today a really good source of just these kind of excellent online headlines for press releases. And where you'll find them is LinkedIn News. So go onto LinkedIn and you'll see this tab on the top right hand side. It's like this little feed of news that LinkedIn thinks you're going to be interested in. And all the headlines are absolutely perfectly written, right? So Samsung workers accept bonus deal. US coach defends communication style. Britain facing food crisis. Youth unemployment alarm in UK. European firms keep betting on China. Meta introduces subscriptions. Toxic factories move stirs debate. And YouTube to label AI videos. Right? Almost all of these, you understand the story based on what I've just said. Now, some of them you might be interested in knowing more. Some of them you might not be. But you kind of know what they're doing. Meta introduces subscriptions. Youth unemployment alarm in UK. You absolutely know what these stories are about. And you can see about a dozen of them every day in that tab up the top right on LinkedIn in the LinkedIn newsfeed. So simple, down to earth, really, I guess they're quite boring, simple headlines, but they're quite difficult to write because they require you to sum up and really understand and make the whole story accessible. But if you can do it, it's really going to help. So thank you very much for listening. Lots more advice and support elsewhere on this podcast and on our blog at comsteria.co.uk. And as I say, if you're interested in things like AI for small businesses, media training, getting started with podcasting, editing with Descript, storytelling, smartphone video training, it's all part of Comsteria's Summer of Training. Check out the links and get your tickets at comsteria.co.uk/summer.